Hi everyone. My name is Lisa. I am an occupational therapist and I work with children with special needs. And I every Wednesday I connect to this in my YouTube channel. We connect through this live, no, where we can talk and discuss different topics. And obviously, I am always super happy to read you and to hear from you and give you suggestions, recommendations. I don't know, maybe my professional opinion and my own opinion about 13 difficulties. And every Wednesday, I connect at 7:30 p.m. European time to talk about different topics. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about a really interesting one. It was name check protocol, and I don't know if you're interested, you can always go through the videos. And in case if you didn't manage to connect live, last week we were talking about the importance about the role of parents during therapy sessions, and I was saying that sometimes it's beneficial and sometimes it's not that much. Right, depends always on the situation. And this week we're going to talk about the role of occupational therapists during school visits or during school at all. Okay, so I know that not in all the countries occupational therapists are working at schools or in childcares or in any other place, just the clinical setup or hospital setup. Privately or publicly, but more or less we are all known in this. However, the role of occupational therapist can vary and it's obviously different. Well, I would say it's not that different, but still the setup and the environment can be different. So our adaptation also as an occupational therapist can be different, no? And as an occupational therapist, I always try to support the parents through different places, right? Whatever, if it's in the childcare, if it's a school, if it's, well, I don't know, even if it's to work on social skills to go in the playground. I think like our job, it's very important and it can be, how to say, it can give really good benefits. It doesn't matter in which environment we are working. So I am having here my journal that I am keeping. So the one first thing that I do as an occupational therapist when I go to work at schools, it's to have a journal with me where I can take my note about the therapy sessions that are going on. So I don't go just to the school and I do the therapy session and that's it. Sometimes, depend on the need, we will be working just assisting the kid during the classroom setup, or maybe working because some schools have sensory rooms, or maybe other activities that the child is not participating because maybe the teachers or the school doesn't know how to integrate the kid. And my role as an occupational therapist will be always to provide help and assistance in order to to support the kid in this area. I'm smiling because sometimes it's really the sessions can be really fun in the therapy in the school, setups, and even during the childcare. I will say like this: in the clinic, the occupational therapist, we always have. Obviously, it's totally different because we have our materials, our equipment, whatever we need is there. At school or in the childcare, we have to count on what the childcare or school can provide, or otherwise we can bring our own instruments, no? But you're not going to carry everything because it's not possible. So first thing first, what I like to do is to have a journal, keep a journal with me where I can make my notes and write my, like what we achieved, what we are working on, what's going on during the therapy sessions. So this helps me a lot to also be able to prepare the teacher or the assistant of the teacher assistant to see how we can help the child at school better, no? Usually the program or the planning goes according to what the school can provide you and at the same time what the child benefits from. So let's say we're having a kid with autism, no, who has, their sensory difficulties, etc., and we have difficulties to keep him at school, in the classroom. So what we are going to do is always look if there is a sensory corner or there is a sensory room, or maybe a place. If there is no sensory room, maybe we can ask the school to create a little sensory room, a little setup for the child to actually benefit in the moments where we are having our tantrums, or maybe our difficult days. We could be using that sensory room for sensory purposes, no, for self-regulation, etc., etc. In case if there is no sensory room, we are going to be always checking playground, not playgrounds, but outdoors areas, no, where we have physical activity, or maybe if there is a trampoline, maybe there is I don't know, a play area, or an area where we can actually use gross motor activities, no, and then through that, with a little bit of planning, we can actually start integrating occupational therapy and our assistance and our job during school. Sometimes it's nothing about the sensory regulation, but mostly about participation during the classroom. So the child will be, focusing better, or maybe how the child is holding the pencil, how the child is working during the school, etc. So it depends, For example, I am following up a couple of kids now, and what we do, we divide. We have first the sensory room, or the sensory activities, and then we go through the activities that the child needs to do at school, or during summer school, no, right? For example, for us, for me, we are right now in summer, so we are having these summer schools everywhere, and during summer school, there is not so much activities that they will be doing in the classroom, but they have really plenty of activities outdoors. And sometimes for children with autism, or children with dyspraxia and other sensory difficulties, it's very, very difficult for them to participate actually in those activities with the rest of the class, no, because of the difficulty of socializing or communication or sensory wise. So it's very important to obviously adapt as much as possible what you're doing in the clinic outside whatever, like I'm telling you, setup. If you're using PACs as form of communication, we have to introduce them at school. If you are using a device as a sort of communication, we have to use it as well at school. If we are practicing pencil grips, or we are talking about how to work with a therapeutic party, or we need to work on some pre-writing skills, we are focusing as well the same at school. So for example, over here, I will write the date, I will write obviously the name of the kid, and I will write what it is, what we are achieving, and then I will be able to communicate to the parents actually what happened or not. I like to always give a feedback after the session, because first of all, it's fresh, and there is a lot of like little things that you will be always wanting to add or work on or improve. And so it's always important to give such feedback. And also maybe sometimes you can integrate the teachers, or the person who is responsible of the kid or the classroom and so on, and try to expand this feedback towards everybody. For example, over here, I'm having someone that I want to see in the childcare, and it's very, very similar. It doesn't matter what is the setup, but our role as occupational therapists, we really can do a lot of different things. Even sometimes we will have children biting, for example. It's very often in the childcares, very often that we are having kids around 1 year and a half, 2.5, that they will be biting, and they will be like a little bit, having behavior issues. Well, at the age of 2, almost every kid has, they have behavior issues, in the sense of, they call it the terrible 2, no? So the terrible 2, it's like, okay, everything it's a no, everything it's me, everything it's like pushing and stuff. But we have to have the limits, how to separate from what it is just behavior and what it's not actually, what is the difficulty. Many times I will be called to go to the childcare, because the carers will be a little bit afraid, no, that the fact that the child is biting without no reasons, or how we can help him and assist him. I always use my super mega helpful tools, the chewy tubes. I am mega fan of them. Maybe next time I can bring them here and I can show you as well. I think one of the lives that I did before, it was about the chewy tubes. But I definitely suggest you to use them a lot, especially when you have children who have difficulties with biting. The chewy tubes are there for a really great sensory stimulator, in the sense of to release the tension of grinding the teeth or biting someone. We use the chewy tubes. So, for example, I had a couple of cases lately that I went directly because of this purpose. So, my role as an occupational therapist will be going there for 1 hour, no, and observe the kid, see maybe we can combine. I always try to go not when it's like feeding time or nap time, or maybe feeding and playing time, something in between where I can get at least 2 scenarios that are a little bit different. No, I don't just go like randomly, let me see, first thing in the morning. Because first thing in the morning, it depends how the child wakes up. Maybe we will have the breakfast in the childcare or something else. So, or a little bit too sleepy. I don't like to, like I said, just randomly go. I always try to select, I always ask for the schedule of the day, and I select the time where I can, for example, have outdoors time and feeding time, or outdoors time and indoors. Anyway, something where I can actually get something out of it. So when I go to the childcare and I am observing the kid, no, I'm always looking for the difficulties or maybe situation that actually can stimulate the biting. Because I don't believe that the kid just bite to bite. Many times they copy because they saw someone biting and they just want to imitate kind of that behavior, because they saw that there is a consequence of it, because maybe the carer shouted at the child, maybe because there were punishment, maybe because there were more attention towards the kid, the fact that he bites. And we never know what is the situation, no, what is the trigger. I always say that we have to try to analyze and observe the situation from different angles. Maybe you need to go twice, maybe with one time it's not enough. And then do our conclusions. Obviously, I always provide a report after the school visit or the childcare visit, where I can explain what I did and what I saw, what not, and recommendations. So if there is something like super urgent, I definitely send the kid to therapy. If or I refer for therapy, or maybe I will refer to ABA therapy or speech therapy or whatever. And then if I don't see the need, I am clear with that as well. Like, don't worry, like we can do this, and there is no need for you to go for therapy. Like I said always, and I am, always repeat myself, therapy is not a joke. We are not going for therapy just to have fun and just to do basically nothing. We go for therapy because we are going to work on skills. It doesn't matter which type of skill. Are we working today on something very specific, or maybe randomly we are doing some games, but there is always a purpose behind. So we have to be conscious about it, and also aware that being in therapy process is because there is a reason what we need to improve. If you ask me honestly, at the age when I go to childcare, my eyes are like boom, 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 because I can see different things. And I went, for example, for my client, and I can see a couple of possible future clients, But obviously, because our job, it is what it is. We are surrounded by kids, so obviously, naturally, I'm always, observing and analyzing the environment and the situations. But there is an age where every child is displaying a sort of behavior, sort of attention seeking, sort of a little bit of emotional instability. So that's totally fine. What we need to do is to see how this is interfering in the daily basis, obviously, and see if the child actually is getting like out of the line or not. Okay, so yes, that was a little bit my little feedback about our role like occupational therapist, at least for me, and the importance as well. I always try to promote that in case if the parents are facing difficulties at school, don't forget to reach out to your occupational therapist or your speech therapist or anyone, because sometimes it is not about in the clinical environment. It's one-to-one. It's easy. Many times the therapist, knowing what you do, can settle the kid and can manage the child and can change the activities, be more flexible and so on. But many times children displays different behaviors and different difficulties in attention or other skills during the school or during group activities. So, or you have the option to find some group activities and to do a couple of therapeutic sessions, but in a group. Or B, you can always try to push your therapist to actually ask for such service and go to the school, go to the childcare, work with the other teachers, work with other people who knows your kid, and see how everybody can help. Like I said always, and I will continue repeating, I am a super positive person about teamwork, about multidisciplinary work. I don't believe there is one particular methodology or therapy that can help. We have to be humble about it. We are not superheroes. We can do great job. Some of us we do great job, but we also need to count on other people not to back us up in case if there is maybe something going a little bit outside of our expertise or outside of our experience, right? So that's a little bit my little hint into OT in the school. My, let's say, few suggestions that I will definitely give you if you are an occupational therapist and you're watching this video and you would like to do home or school visits or home visits or childcare visits, which visit outside of your clinical environment. Make sure that you get, first of all, a diary, something that you can write the things down. Make sure that you know the environment and make sure that you know the environment and you know with which equipment you count. Make sure that you study the schedule so you don't go there in an inappropriate moment, because basically you will just misuse your visit, right? And neither the parents, neither the kid, neither you benefit from it. And as well, be very alert and observe different situations in order for you to maximize the potential to help the kid during school or during the childcare, etc. So a little bit that will be my final suggestion to you, in case if you're an occupational therapist, and in case if you're a parent and you would like to interested in this maybe enrollment, participation of your occupational therapist at school, because you feel that you have the need. Obviously, if you have the need, this goes general suggestions. Like I said, not every Wednesday we're talking here about activities or maybe I wanted to create this space to be able to talk about different topics, and maybe some of you will say I didn't think about it, and maybe you can get some benefits from some of these videos. All right. If you're a parent, then you would maybe you have the need of an occupational therapist working at school or helping you do some sessions in the childcare or at school. Make sure that the occupational therapist has the experience in the field, and communicate clearly what are your concerns. Because sometimes it happened that we go to the school and there is no really, just to observe the kid how he's working. If there is no need, if it's just because to remove it from your head and to make sure that there is someone outside observing your kid inside of the school, that's fine. But usually I like to, say make sure that we are all productive, right? So make sure that you have your concerns that are set up your, concerns and your aims that you would like to work, and make sure that your T is, full for it, and it's use the purpose, and also there is sense in those school visits or childcare visits or home visits or whatever. Home visits are different, obviously, because home is home, but sometimes for certain behaviors, it's also interesting to have an occupational therapist working from at home. Because the home setup, sometimes the parents are unable to make sure that the child eats, sits at the table, brushes the teeth, or maybe clean up the toys, etc. So the occupational therapist can also help a lot as an intervention in these areas, So definitely it could be also an option. Today we are super quiet. We are very quiet. I think it's not just because it's a Wednesday, but we are entering end of July. Everybody is on holidays and everybody is enjoying summer, which is great, and I'm happy for you. I think we're going to leave it today. I think I gave a couple of good tips. If you have questions, always, please, you can follow on this channel. First of all, much appreciated. You can follow me on social media, and if you have any questions and you would like to, you have some, questions or interesting topics that you would like to share with me, that you would like me to talk about them, you can, as I said, always, you can write me, text me, like some parents already did, or put a question under the video, and I will talk about it the next live. Okay, so I think that was great. It serves my purpose, at least. I hope I provide you some refreshment about occupational therapy. That's my profession, and I will see you then next Wednesday. August is coming. It's super hot over here. I wish that you have I'm wishing to you a very good, not hot day, rest of the day, and very good week. And I will be seeing you next Wednesday. Okay? Thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for following me up on social media. Bye bye. See you on next Wednesday.